हमेशा बहुत पूरा स्वेट लगता है, फनी लगता है ऑफ कोर्स.
Always excited to work with us and the entire team to promote. And the director has done a great job in the way. So I saw the visual before they shot the sounds, and then I saw the visuals. It was very big visuals which we saw. So again, very excited about it. And as I said, Prabhas is like he's means we have a family relation now because we're doing so many things together. He's, yeah, as we want our people to that. But all the best to the entire team. Yeah, everybody has worked very hard, and you can see the kind of work done. So all the very best.
So the year to year smile says it all. वो पता लग रहा है. Please, we have to talk about the music also. This is for the first time, Ensemble of Stars is what we usually talk about. But here, एक फिल्म के लिए अलग music. So for the first time it is happening. What do you have to say about that?
Music composers, different music composers, not for the first time, but yeah.
Songs,
yeah, because see this time we have done for the songs, we have chosen different composers and the lyric writers, and for the Hindi different ones. This is for the first time, and I'm very happy this new thing has worked. And normally, when you make songs here, you dub it in Telugu, you make songs in Telugu and dub it in Hindi. It's all based.
He couldn't be here, unfortunately, but he sent in his best wishes as a producer. He's proved the medal, and I'm sure आगे भी यही होगा. Welcome to be here. And we were talking about pain now. We were talking about Vimal India. You said he's not going to tell us anything, but please tell us. Just spill some bean. Give us some secret to this movie. Something जो अभी तक नहीं पता है.
A secret is that, I don't know if it's a secret, but I think the film is beautiful. I would say look at it like a fantasy love story. It's a visual feast, but at the same time, the emotion hits you hard. It's about fate, it's about science. It's like in my heart and soul, I want to say, for this character. It's one of my favorite characters I've ever played. It was a very difficult one to do also. I think I've left a little bit of my soul with my character. So I hope you guys like it. And I'm super excited and super nervous. I have like butterflies in my stomach right now.
We also have the gentleman जिनका नाम मतलब music का नाम आता है तो उनका नाम भी होता है Mr. Pukut for the music, sir. Thank you so much. So thank you for being a part of this movie. And I'm sure you've done your magic one more time, जो भी हमको देखने को मिलेगा when the movie releases on 11th March. What do you have to say about this entire experience, sir?
Nothing short of what can call humongous. It's two original films.
Right.
It's very difficult to conceive two original films at the same time. One in Telugu and one in Hindi. Hindi is like different. But essentially, and also keeping the movie is the same. At core, it's a love story, and it has its own essence. Keeping that its own essence, keeping that this, but cater to I think it's the first time in the country to have. To also to conceive it and do it. Take a Telugu shot and Hindi shot and have Telugu actors and Hindi actors, and they themselves doing their own dubbing in Hindi, and we did try to do sing sound in the first schedule, and then because of the pandemic then we couldn't do that, but they did a marvelous job of keeping. Thank you so much for lending your voices to us so that we can play with it and make it to distinctly original film. Thank you.
Amazing. Please.
I think he's like spot on about that because I feel like they're the same film, but they're two different films at the same time, because we used to shoot everything twice. One was Hindi, and it was so funny because we used to probably get the emotion in the Hindi shot, and then suddenly we would be very excited, and suddenly Radha sir would be like, Telugu is still left, so I'm like, okay, fine. So it's two different films also because of the people, the energies, their different characters bring in their own energies. So please watch it because even they're tracks. So I think you guys could actually watch two films and feel about it.
Thank you so much. We also have UV Creations and Vikram sir, and share a little bit of his wisdom. Sir, हमको producer बनाएंगे.
Vicky the star.
Please, but before this one's to the director Saab and of course Prabhas sir. You know, they say there's right, you know, but this time you painted the trains Radhe Shyam, and not just or Mumbai. In the entire country, national trains from north to down south, colored in the color of Radhe Shyam. Whose idea was it?
I think the producers should answer that. They spent too much money on love story and the public. I think Pramod sir is.
Because only one reason, because he's darling Prabhas.
He's just nailed it. He's darling Prabhas, of course. Your fans, jitne bhi darlings hai, let me tell you here. They've been, you know, they are on social media. They've been waiting for this day. They're waiting for 11th March, and it is a short blockbuster.
Last month or 1 year.
So we'll take the chairs now, and we'll take the questions from the media. But before that, a quick photo op you want? Yeah, we'll have a quick photo op with this team. That's it. We'll do the solos later, right? Thank you.
तू आगे जाते हो वाइल्ड घूम करके दो ना आपके लेफ्ट में
Sir, a big. We'll do that. Big money. So we'll have the chairs and request the court us to stay back. Thank you so much.
सर आ जाओ ना पीछे आपके आगे कोई नहीं फिर क्यों जा रहे हो
Please have a seat.
अरे यार
Alright, so now it's time for the Sawal Jawabs. And where do we start?
Pooja ji, on your left hand. On your left hand. आपने अपना हाथ दिखाया भाई को and अगर दिखाया तो उनका क्या रिएक्शन
ये दादा पीछे ना पाजी क्या प्रभास का हेड हो रहा है आपके हेड से
मैं भी तो आगे जा रहा हूँ
क्यों आगे कोई मेरा सर आ रहा है
हम एक्ट कर रहे हैं ना, like he doesn't know to actually read it, but बाहर जो पंडित जी जो थे,
So it was like great. We talked about the voiceover. Everybody loves his voice and
ये
he spoke very nice. So speaking together. It's very important. Start dialogue and complete with this dialogue. So I'm very grateful. We are all grateful to getting his voice.
भूषण जी मेरा सवाल आपसे है अभी तो सिनेमा के गंगूबाई की बात अच्छी आई है लेकिन मुझे अच्छी तरह से याद है जब
एक मिनट के लिए खाली पीछे आता बस
बड़ी फिल्में
प्रभास का फोटो
फ्लॉप हुई तब आपने दूसरे प्रोडक्शन हाउस बड़े प्रोडक्शन
माइक नीचे कर
डिसीजन लिया था कि आप फिल्में और बनाएंगे तो उस समय जब सब लोग डिमोरलाइज थे
माइक नीचे करो
तब आपको
ये तो ओटीटी पे लिमिटेड नहीं होती है, लोगों को एंटरटेन होने के लिए थिएटर्स कभी हमारी जिंदगी से जा नहीं सकते, और उसी का रीज़न वो एक कॉन्फिडेंस हमें एज टी सीरीज और हमारे स्टूडियो में था कि ये थिएटर्स 100% लोग वापस आएंगे, थिएटर्स में एंजॉय करेंगे, बिकॉज थिएटर्स कॉन्फिडेंस फ्रॉम बिगिनिंग, एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव प्लान्ड अप ऑल आवर फिल्म्स रिलीज, जो कि कुछ ओटीटी रिलीज हमने अब हमारी फिल्म जून रिलीजिंग डे आफ्टर टुमारो, देन वी आर Radhe Shyam to theaters and enjoy the films on a big screen.
इम्पोर्टेंट है। तो आप लोग कितना बिलीव करते हैं इस पे? और अगर ये सच होता है तो आप लोग कितना काम कर सकते हैं?
Yeah, yeah, I believe in faith basically, but I never showed time to anyone. Then rather to be the yeah.
हेलो प्रभात यूर सेंटर राहुल ये फ्रॉम हेलो 3-4 सालों से बहुत सारा फर्क पहले ऑडियंस की नजर में होता था ये टॉलीवुड एक्टर ये बॉलीवुड एक्टर ये फिल्म ये बॉलीवुड लेकिन मेकर्स एफर्ट डाल रहे हैं अब इंडियन सिनेमा और इंडियन एक्टर की मतलब बारी आ रही है तो एफर्ट डाल रहे हैं आपकी तरफ से और क्या एफर्ट देखने को मुझे मिलेगा और आप क्या मतलब उम्मीद करते हैं और क्या बदलाव आएगा
So it's a very good sign that India is becoming one because the other countries like China, biggest industries like China or Hollywood, they have one language. We have 18, 20 languages. So now we are becoming Indian cinema. In 5 years, everybody are experimenting in films. So you know, like Telugu songs, Hindi song, Bahubali or RR or you know, every film we are all trying to reach Indian audience. It takes another five years, I think, because every day it's an experiment. And we're going to make India's film, only Indian films after 5 years, I think, like as you said. And it's going to be, we're going to be the biggest industry.
Hi Prabhas, Shivani here from Times Now. You are right here. Okay, so my question is to you that now the Hindi audience basically has a perception that you are going to come in Hindi theaters only for action films. So would you want to change this perception? And the second question is to Pooja. That Pooja, you know, we have seen all the romance when it comes to the women in the film. So do you also want to come to the action side of it?
First, should I? Or?
No, Prabhas, please go ahead.
So, yeah. So, I like the films which I'm doing, like Purush or Nagi's project, they are like biggest action films. Every 2-3 films, I want to try something different. In Telugu also, I was an action hero from my first film, but I did Darling and Mr. Perfect, which worked. They were big hits, and
You know, I honestly think that Hindi has seen love stories and big love stories with DD. I also feel that we, as an audience, sometimes want to see more love stories which aren't happening. Some opening, which is why Kabir Singh did really well, you know. So I hope that with this film, also people enjoy the love aspect of it. And when it comes to the action, I would say just wait for my next announcement. That's all I'm gonna say. But very excited. I definitely want to, do something with action because I feel that as a young girl, I look up to women who have played major action sequences and done roles like that where, you know, she's been the badass of the film, you know, and growing up, I've seen that, I've loved it, and I hope that through my choices in my films, I could probably inspire another little Pooja. So I hope that happens very soon, and it will. Just give me a few months for my next announcement.
Hi, congratulations to the entire team. The teaser, the trailer, everything is excellent, excellent. Yeah. Just to add an extension to the question what one of my colleagues had asked, प्रभात जी कभी किसी लड़की को impress करने के लिए पामिश आप बने थे? It could be for
maybe, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. पूजा, कभी आपने कुछ अभी इस तरह से किया है क्या कॉलेज में या कभी किसी
मैं तो definitely we did. Yeah, I saw Pooja's hand in the film. Yeah.
पूजा यूर सेंटर राहुल आपसे कि प्रवास के साथ काफी वक्त बिताया आपने शूटिंग के दौरान कुछ ऐसे प्रवास के बारे में आप बताइए
I think like, you know, the image is that he's a shy person, but I think he's actually if he warms up to the people and like around his friends, he's actually a fun person and very, jovial is what I would say. So that's what people don't know.
Hi Prabhas. Hi. Welcome from Birmingham. Congratulations for the promo. I think it's outstanding. My question to you is that we are witnessing, I think, a superb change in a way. That the mainstreaming of South cinema, I think it's a beautiful experience for almost everyone. It's no more considered as regional cinema. And the way, in a way, it's like a benchmark in terms of box box office, be it to come one to other, because it's truly spectacular.
Yeah, it should come, I feel. Maybe it started with Bahubali or Rajmouli or whatever, but I think we should make an Indian film.
Is one film that can truly go maybe because the theme is truly universal.
Theme which I select, like I try to make, everybody are trying to make Indian films, north, south, east, west, so we tried in India, like, to make Indian film. But it is an Indian film, it's like love, destiny, faith, everybody believes in it around the country, around the world also. So, yeah.
Hi
आवाज
Prabhas,
कम आ रहा है
one is Ravi from ABP News channel. After Bahubali, Pushpa became a film which caused see the success of Pushpa, which was released recently, which starred Allu Arjun in it. How do you see the success of that?
So like we are getting closer, like we are making Indian films, like yeah. So that's now Bahubali did and KGF did, now Pushpa. Now we're getting closer to make Indian films more.
Insight from Master. Hi, listen. प्रभास जो है राजा मौली जो है वो नरेट किया है उन्होंने एक बाहुबली कोलैबोरेशन पे क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
I don't know when Raju.
क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
I don't know when Rajmouli does, but definitely we do something. And yeah, we are friends, so I can ask him. I don't ask him. He won't tell me. But we had a small plan, but I don't know when it happens. We'll let you know.
Hi, Prabhas, this side. Hello.
Hi.
This film is kind of different than your films which we have watched. According to you, what do you think? What will attract your audience the most? Is it you being in the film, or is it the story? What will attract the most to your films?
Any stars, I don't know even the stars, but like any actor or stars, they really, the film runs only because of writer and the director. Then only I think if we stars or actors can make it bigger, little, the openings or something, but the film can run only by the story or the director.
Right. And एक डायलॉग है फिल्म में कि प्यार को लेकर आपका प्रेडिक्शन इस बार गलत है. वेल कितनी बार ऐसा हुआ है कि प्यार को लेकर आपका प्रेडिक्शन गलत हुआ है रियल लाइफ में?
बहुत बार हुआ है, that's why we get married.
मुझे आपसे एक सवाल ये है we know you are very versatile in terms of acting, but talking about Radhe, कितनी versatility आपको दिखाने का मौका मिला है इस फिल्म में?
I feel like sometimes the script supports you, and I think this time the character has helped me kind of portray another version of myself, Pooja, I would say. And it was great that I got to do a commercial film, which was a love story where the girl had a very strong character. I had to so I prepped a lot for it. She's fun, she's strong-headed, she's very much a girl of today, even though the film is set in, I would say, 80s, 70s.
आपकी कुंडली बहुत अच्छी है, तो उन्होंने ये भी बताया था कि आपको सिर्फ सुभाष रणवीर सिंह और या ये भी बोला कि इसके अलावा गंगूबाई काठियावाड़ी जैसे कैरेक्टर्स भी करें.
Jess, so if you're watching this, please give me the chance. But इतनी बुरी बात तो नहीं है, मतलब अगर हम सुपरस्टार्स के साथ काम
मैंने
कर
कहा
रहे
तो अच्छी बात है.
अच्छी बात है. I have also worked with
आमिर
superstars.
शाहरुख के साथ भी करना.
I haven't also, if you look at my filmography, but I think it's now about picking the right scripts for me. I think it's about picking the right characters, and I think that I've reached that stage where I feel like it's, I want to be challenged as an actor more than anything. Besides doing the commercial films also, which I am, and this is like the perfect amalgamation of both, I would say, because there's a scope for performance and it's a commercial film at the same time. So I hope you like it, and I hope कि I keep working with superstars, and they say that संगत अच्छा हो तो फिर वो कभी ना कभी तो वो that it rubs off on you. So I hope that the superstar
तो प्रभास के साथ काम करने का क्या चैलेंज आपको लगा और उन्होंने क्या रबाव अपनी स्टारडम कितनी रबाव किया आपके साथ?
I think the challenge has been with his fans because they are so passionate about him, the darling fans, that agar kuch, if there was no update coming from the team, they used to bombard me on my Instagram and my Twitter saying that please Radhe Shyam update, Radhe Shyam update. So I think my challenge has been with that, but it's amazing to have such passionate fans.
Hi.
Director, is this film inspired from Titanic? You can call it it's an Indian Titanic. Yeah, how much was it?
No, there's just a shift in the climax.
And what is so special about Prabhas and Pooja when it comes to their everything about them?
Actually, I shouldn't say this. It's very pompous to say this, but I actually saw the first cut. I told Radha, I call him India's James Cameron. Radha James Cameron is what I generally call him in my mess. I said the climax is bigger than Titanic. The way it has been done. I mean, I don't want to break all the cue factor of the film. That's what I genuinely felt. So it was to me a huge challenge. See, again, um, it's a love story. Titanic was also a love story. Comparisons are going to come, but don't compare it. I'm saying this is more of a La La Land, I would say. You know, for me personally speaking. And when you deal with films like this, and you want to make it international, like yesterday when you were watching the reels of Prabhas, you were actually saying it's sounding international. You know, it's looking international. It's but at the same time, it is a love story that comes from Indian cinema. You know, like Faridun said, you talked about Indian cinema. Now we are talking about Indian cinema. I should say historically it is wrong. There were a lot of South Indian films that have had Indian actors from the north, and South Indian film was actually identified as Indian cinema. And if you look at the 70 years of India's cinematic history, and it's that just in the last 20 years we just forgotten. If you put together Tamil cinema, Telugu cinema, Malayalam cinema put together, it's much bigger than Hindi cinema. We just didn't know about it. You know, their overseas openings, put everybody else to shame. I mean, if you look at it. So actually, what pandemic has done is just leveled it. You know, now we know the other languages. Like Prabhas was saying, we are like more than how many languages we have. We have as many industries. We just don't recognize it. We are the only one country. If you look at Europe, you only talk about as in industries. I mean, Europe doesn't have that kind of numbers, stories, our own language, our own literature. So Radhe Shyam come from Indian cinema. So you see visuals of that kind, and because the film is set in Europe, because that's what the basic tenets of the story is that. That's why it is set in Europe. It's not that we want to compete with Titanic or make it like that, or go one step ahead of it. But the story demanded that it be set in Europe in the 70s, and so we are just coming together. I mean, India, the Indian audience is coming together. I mean, well, that's what the pandemic has done to us. Post-pandemic, we have identified as one people through Indian cinema, and that is the core of Indian cinema has done in the last 2.5 years. Hi.
The speciality of the second part of the question was very interesting. I want to know the answer.
What was the second part?
The speciality of their voices.
See the.
Doctor for your audio.
See, I never knew Pooja speaks.
I speak Telugu also now.
Okay, they did it on their own, and they worked really hard. I mean, of course, because of the pandemic, we couldn't go to commercial dubbing studios, so we created our own studio. They came there and they worked day in, day out, and they made it happen. And I see they're very, Prabhas, especially to talk about Prabhas, and he's very concerned of how he's reaching out, There is, I mean, look at him as an actor who was identified with Bahubali, and you have this larger than life image, but he's doing a love story, you know, and he comes, I mean, look at similarly, he comes to the studio and say that, don't treat me like Bahubali, you know, I'm not, in this film, I'm different, so treat me like the character. Very rarely you have actors from North speaking like that. I'm very, very proud of him, you know. They are, except barring a few actors from North, they're basically themselves. And here I see an actor, pan-India actor, much better than, you know, anybody that you can name, comes to the studio, listen to his sequences and say that, don't treat me like this. This is wrong, you know. Treat me like the character that I am. And that's, you know, again goes back to us who sells to the story and the direction. That is one quality I would say our North actors to imbibe.
We take one last question. Right?
Myself Dinesh Pandey. हेलो myself Dinesh Pandey from दैनिक जागरण. मेरा सवाल प्रोड्यूसर्स एंड डायरेक्टर्स से है कि जब आपकी फिल्म में हीरो का नाम विक्रमादित्य है, हीरोइन का नाम प्रेरणा है, बट फिल्म का नाम राधे श्याम कैसे रखा, क्यों रखा?
So that's a good question. See, regarding palmistry has been like what I read was like there's a king called Vikramaditya who popularized palmistry around India and around the world. So I took an inspiration of the name from that. And Prerna, the meaning of Prerna is, I think you'll all understand that. So why I named her Prerna is like once you watch the film, you'll understand it. And why I named it Radhe Shyam? Like, is there any classical love story in India like bigger than Radhe Shyam? To add some an answer to few of the questions. Like, so this film is based on it's a love story. The conflict is astrology. And coming to astrology, if you take astrology, like either we believe it or we don't believe it. Only there are two categories. It's the most age-old question. Like I've been like reading about this question in like 500-year-old scriptures as well. Like, is it true or not? But if something is not true, it has to extinct. But it is not. Is that happening? And the other thing is like, do we have a logical conclusion to palmistry or astrology or whatever it is? We cannot come with a sentence with that. So the question is like, people who believe in it, when you question the belief system, people who do believe in it, they'll relook at this issue in a different way once again. And I think Radhe Shyam is a film to fall in love with and to understand an aspect, an age-old question as well. Thank you, sir.
Prabhas. Hi, Prabhas.
Hi.
On your left, on your left.
Sorry.
Hi.
Hi.
How much do you believe in astrology? And
What's the other question?
do you believe in astrology?
No, actually that's why story like 70. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I never believe.
Prabhas, do you agree? Yeah. Welcome to Mumbai. Prabhas, do you agree with Bahubali? You opened the route to the Tollywood industry, and now it's doing very well. What is your answer to
So
this?
actually, writers and director opened thing. I was part of it. So yes, actually, what we started to open a lot of things. Yeah.
And do you, you just said that star and actors, you know. So I want to ask, do you agree that for a star or as an actor?
What do you think? We started. So yeah, I didn't do Radhe Shyam to prove as an actor. I just wanted the audience. I want to an audience in a different. So I'm not like very keen about awards. I think maybe maybe after 10 years I don't know. But now I'm not so keen about awards. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
thanks for my fans.
లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఇక్కడ మధ్యలో మేము బాహుబలిలో ఒక 6-pack మీ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్మేషన్ చూసినాము. ఇప్పుడు రాధేశ్యామ్లో అయితే అక్కడ లేదా అని తెలుస్తుంది మనకి. ఆది పురుషులో వచ్చే ఛాన్స్ ఉన్న ఫుల్ బాడీ 6-pack.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, sir. Yeah, we'll talk about. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
That's my fans. I want to thank my fans. Thank you.
And before we wrap up the evening, would like to invite on stage Mr. Anil Kadari, ladies and gentlemen. By now, the distributor, but he's distributed some of the biggest
Excuse me, sir.
ओ मैडम मैडम नीचे नीचे
Ladies and gentlemen, so give it up for him. We all love these people. And once again, thank you to this amazing team.
अरे मनोज क्या कर रहा था बीच में? अरे प्रेम करा पिया तुमने प्रभास